Hello everyone. Today I am going to explain my assignment which I created using HTML, CSS, PHP and MySQL. The title of my assignment is something like a course feedback and evaluation system. And my team consists of 4 members. They are Rohan DR, Rohit Digi, and myself Sahel, and at last Shivkumara BC. This project is mainly designed to perform three basic functions: user registration, course insertion, feedback submission. Where user registration, where new users can register by giving their name, email, and password, and the course insertion, where admin can insert new courses with a title and description. Feedback submission, where feedback or suggestion about the platform or the courses. So the main idea is to simulate a small part of how a real education platform works. All the data that the user submits, like registration details, course information, or the feedback, gets stored in the securely in a MySQL database. I have used PHP to handle the backend logic like saving data to the database, and used HTML and CSS to design the pages and make them user friendly. Also, I created a SQL file that builds the required database table for storing the data. This project may look simple, but it covers the basic of how web application work, like how the front end form connects to back end logic and stores everything in a database. Now our team will explain each file one by one in the proper order and how they are connected to each other.
Myself Rohit from AMR branch, and here you can see index.php file, and here this file is the main starting point of our assignment, and you can think of it like that it is a home page or dashboard of our whole system. And here the index.php file contains simple HTML file, that's it, and it has a links that take you to other important pages of our assignment. And one link goes to registration page. Here we have is registration.php file, and one to insert a course, which is insert course.php file, that is another type of php file, and one to submit feedback. Yes, submit feedback is another php file which we have used in backend, and these links help us the user to navigate the system easily from one place to, like, means you can click on menu to operate these of the options in our system. And design part, as you go to design part, added a link to stylish.css in the heading part of this file. This helps to apply css styles so that the home page looks neat and not plain. It's like interactive homepage where users can access, and without this the page wouldn't look boring. And the layout uh, makes organized to ensures the user. And why you people may ask why this file is important for this system. It connects all the parts of the project together, and it gives a good first impression to the user how the first impression works while working with this project. And instead of typing separate URLs, the user can click on the options and go to that page directly. And for example, let's say someone opens the website, the first page they will be seeing the index page, and from there they can click to any other options like registration or submit feedback, like that they can access those. And the summary of this index php file is like main control panel of the project, and which keeps all the other pages connected to the index.php, and use a simpler and clear way to move around the system and navigate the things. And as we go on to next PHP file, as I said about index.php file, we have linked index.php to registration.php file to index. And these files where the user can fill a registration form, and it is used to collect user details like their email address, password, and their name and their phone number. And here what's the inside file is, it has a HTML form with three fields, means like name, email, password, those things. And here we can submit button. We can ensure the submit button. When the user clicks it, the form sends all this data to another file called registration user.php using the post method, and it's the entry point for new users into the system. It helps collect secure data using required fields. Without this form, we cannot register new user into this system. And this is front end page, but it's connected to backend logic by using the action equals registration user.php another file. And the next further files will be explained by my teammate Sahil Kiroji.
Thank you, Rohit. And next, the style.css file. This is the CSS file used to style the web pages. Here, it adds padding and margins to forms and styles the input boxes and buttons and makes the whole website look cleaner and more professional. Without CSS, the project would look very plain and not user friendly. Here, good UI always leaves a better impression. As my friend said before, in the register.php, after clicking the submit button, it is directly transferred to the register.user user file .php. Here, a register.user.php file. This is the file where the backend logic of registration happens. It receives the data from the register.php and saves it into the database. It first includes the db connect.php file to connect with the database. Then it collects the post data called name and password. It prepares an SQL insert query to add this data into the user table. If the query runs successful, it shows the success image and messages. If there is an error, it shows an error message. This file connects the form to the database. It makes sure that new users are properly stored in the system. Without this file, the data from the registration form would go now here. Now I request my friend Rohan Dr to continue the next part of the code.
Thank you, Sahil. My name is Rohan Dr. I am pursuing AML department in GM University. I'm explaining the insert course.php. This file is used to add new courses into the system, and it has the HTML form with two fields. They are course title and course description. After submission, PHP code inside the same file collects the data. Then it inserts the data into the courses table in the database. And for extra information, like other files, it also includes dbconnect.php to work with the database. It uses the $post method and SQL query to insert the course. And people may ask why it is useful. It allows the admin or user to manage what courses are offered, and courses can be viewed later or linked with the user if expanded in the future. And next, the submit feedback.php. And this is the explanation for submit feedback.php. This file allows user to submit their feedback or suggestions. And what's in it? The form that asks for the username, their feedback message. When submitted, PHP code in the same file saves the message into the feedback table. Backend logic. It includes the dbconnect.php like others. It uses the $post method and an insert query to save feedback. And why it matters. It helps collect opinions or suggestions from users, and the kind of feature is common in the real world web application improved. And next part is explained by my friend Shiv Kumar.
So thank you, Rohan. So myself, Shiv Kumar, pursuing in BTech AML in JM University. So here the next file is DB connect file. So this file is used to connect PHP code to the MySQL database. So how it works means it uses MySQLi connect to connect using host, username, password, database name. If the connection fails, it shows an error. So why it's included in other files? Because we include it at the top of all PHP files that work with the database, so that we don't have to write the connection code again and again. So coming to the next file, uh, the next file is database SQL. So this is the last file, but one of the most important. It contains the SQL code to create all the necessary tables in the database. So it creates a users table for storing registered users data, a course table for storing added course details, and then a feedback table for storing users feedback. So how I use it means I imported this file into phpMyAdmin to automatically create all the tables, and then it saves times and makes sure the structure is correct. And then for conclusion, uh, this is the output of the project. Here we using XAMPP control panel, XAMPP control panel to run the program. And next, here we are starting the both Apache and MySQL. When the admin button, when we click on the admin button, it will directly open the database file where we store the feedback of the users. And next, we will search here local lost ADBMS registered. So PHP, here our web page opens. Here we should enter our name and password and click on the register button. Register button. And then here it will show you the backhand web page where you should submit feedback of the different courses. For example, select course of machine learning by Mr. Shivaranjani SS and give the feedback and give the ratings what you should need, and at last, so here at last click on the submit button. So this data is directly stored in the database where you can check the users feedback. So, and that's the explanation of our project. So here I have shown how each file works and how the data flows from the form to the database, and how all parts are connected using PHP and MySQL. So thank you everyone, my teammates, and thank you Nisha ma'am for giving the opportunity, and thank you GM University for giving the opportunity to explain our project. So that's all. Thank you.